through when the growth look good on you. Best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Table turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keeps dealing me cards, I keep fitting in.
Big up, people. Big up, everybody in the building. You already know the ties. You know the vibes. It's G. We're back. We're back. Hopefully, this won't be too long, but I can kind of already sense something is going to be in the air with one of the topics. But we're here to talk about England. Played yesterday against Bosnia. Preparations for the Euro 2024 campaign. Yeah, they won 3-0. Obviously, we'll talk about the performance and everything like that in a second. Big up everybody who's watching over here on YouTube, over on X. Please, just drop a like. That's all I ask, man. If you can just drop a like. Heck, go vote in the poll if you would want to. And yeah. Do all of that kind of good stuff, man. But in regards to England, and I'll get to the comments in a sec. Like I say, big up everybody who's in the chat already. Yeah, it was a very boring game. Myself and Savage, we watched the game last night, and yeah, it was a very boring game. I don't really know really and truly what I kind of learned from that game, but it is what it is. We already know what England is about. We know what Gareth Southgate is about. We know what he's like. We know his style of football. We know everything in regards to England. We know already. So was it a surprise? Not really. But sometimes you watch these things and you watch these kind of games and you just hope like something's gonna change, something's gonna be a little piece different, and it wasn't. It was the same old England, man. But let me get into some of the comments. Like I say, man, big up to everybody. As I said here, guys, head on over to Keeping It GTV. At the end of this video, heck, open this up on another tab. Go check out the latest episode over on there. I think that's the PlayStation 3 game. So yeah, make sure you guys just go and check that out whenever you guys get a bit of time. It's not a long video anyway, so please check that out. Big up Angel in the building. Good morning to you. It's like I saw this, but I wasn't even going to read it. Trent man of the match, but G headlines with Eze and Wharton. Questions are being asked with an incoming investigation. Is GTV a Palace agent? Maybe. Big up Ends in the building. As he says, press the button on the way in. Big up Ends with the super chat. First and foremost, I'd like to say I appreciate that very, very much so. Always love and appreciation for any super chat. You already know the ties, man. Come on, man. I'm going to read it out just because you sent in a super chat. That's the only reason why I'm going to send it out. I'm going to read it out. Bundis G guy, always saying the most. Hashtag Trent number 8. Whatever. But as I say, people, please make sure you are smashing that like button. Share this out as well. As I said before, this ain't going to be too long. Obviously, I'll just talk about the game. Then match ratings. I've already done the ratings already, so it's just really just me kind of going through as to why. We'll talk about a couple players, and yes, Trent Alexander-Arnold will be one of those players that we do speak about, alongside a couple of other players that I was intrigued about in regards to the game. And then yeah, we can head out. So as you guys can obviously see on your screens, this was the lineup for yesterday's game. He's obviously experimented. I saw something actually this morning talking about this was the first lineup that England have had. No Arsenal, Man City, was it Manchester United? Yeah, Manchester United. And there was another team. Arsenal, Manchester City, Manchester United. I want to say maybe Spurs. I think Spurs might have been the other team, but it was the first time since like November 1994 that England hadn't had a player in their starting lineup from one of those teams. So, which I found kind of interesting. I mean, we've got Brighton in there, we've got Newcastle in there, we've got Villa, Everton, Palace, Chelsea, West Ham, Liverpool. It's kind of interesting. In fact, the most players from the starting 11 actually came, I want to say, from Palace. If I'm looking at the lineup now, yeah, from Palace, Eze and Mark Gay, Oh no, and obviously Aston Villa, they had two players, Konza and Watkins. Yeah. Interesting team. And obviously, I spoke in my match preview in regards to I wanted to see, more. I want to see. Obviously, I wanted him to experiment because I said there's no real point in him bringing all of these players. And you're saying, obviously, I get it in terms of you want to be giving people recognition for the things that they've done over the course of a season. But obviously, we're heading into Euros, right? So I kind of need you, if you're going to be bringing these players, and obviously you still need to cut some of these players. I get that, but if you're going to bring them, I kind of need to see something. I can't let it be a thing of, oh yeah, you're just bringing them for the sake of bringing them. Don't do all of that, man. If you're gonna bring them, let's see what they can do at least, because at least then you'll always know anyway that you haven't left no stone unturned. We're not gonna do this thing of, oh, maybe we should have brought X player, we should have brought, blah blah blah. And I don't really want, all of that kind of stuff, just kind of left in the air, because always at these tournaments, usually England don't do well as always, right? And then we get to a point where we're like, at some point in the summer, usually whilst the tournament is still going on, like quarterfinals, semi-finals, and then final, England should have brought this kind of player. Then all the pundits, whether it's Michael Owen, Rio Ferdinand, Gerrard, or whoever, they all Glenn Hoddle, like they always then come out. Yeah, England should be looking to bring this type of player with them. We need that kind of player who can play in the half spaces, or we need a left winger, or we need. I'm like, bro, we had the player. He didn't want to bring them, so let's see what they can at least do. And that's always been, my kind of thing. So yeah, one of the main things, of course, and we'll get onto it now just to get this out of the way, is you can see Trent Alexander-Arnold is playing in that double pivot alongside Conor Gallagher. Now, and obviously Ezri Konsa was the one who was chosen at right back with Kieran Trippier at left back. I was a bit surprised by that because I thought maybe Gomez would start, but he's also got another game on Friday, so we'll be intrigued to see what he does there in terms of the defense. But yeah, I mean, Trent playing in that midfield position, in that double pivot position, which is obviously interesting because Liverpool might potentially be playing with a double pivot next season. Obviously, it's only one game. It was an okay performance. Yeah, it was okay. I don't think we really, obviously, it's so difficult because I don't think we learned anything from him being in that position, if that's the focus anyway. Like for me, it wasn't really the focus. I think the focus for me was seeing players like Eze's and, Adam Wharton coming on. How does Ollie Watkins do linking up play? Cole Palmer and stuff like that, like Jared Bowen. These are the more, because they're players who don't get to play really often, kind of thing. And they're not like guaranteed to be on the plane, so to speak, with some of these kind of players. So yeah, those are the ones I was really looking at. But of course, everybody's speaking about Trent in the midfield. I know a lot of you want Trent to be in the midfield for Liverpool next season. Listen, we'll go game by game basis, but if I had to base it on that game, I'll be like, yeah, okay, this is why I wouldn't, necessarily put him in the midfield. Don't feel like and this is not actually, I'm not even blaming him, by the way, for this. He didn't offer me anything in the midfield that I felt we needed, kind of thing, like, so to speak, like, especially when you're going to say alongside Declan Rice, like Declan Rice is the guaranteed player, right, in that position. So if you've got Declan Rice in that position, then you're looking at it. Is it going to be a case of, is he going to play maybe a Trent next to a Declan Rice and then maybe Jude in that potential number 10 role? I mean, I would just rather play Jude and Declan Rice and then have a Foden potentially in that 10 role, and then Saka obviously out on the right, and then whoever on the left-hand side. I think that would work best for England, because then you kind of give, you give players like Jude and a Foden, their, would I say, quote unquote, proper roles, roles that I think they can really affect the game. Now, Trent, we know, excellent passer. That some of the passing that he did yesterday, I was like, Jesus Christ, like that. There was one ball he played out to the far side. I can't remember who was running onto it. I want to say Grealish, I think it was Grealish running onto it. Excellent ball. But this is just, this is everyday stuff when it comes to Trent Alexander-Arnold. But sometimes I look at that and just think to myself, if that's what we need him for, then yeah, of course. And he scored a goal last night as well. Obviously, he scored that from right back, but he scored a goal nonetheless. So, yeah, all round for Trent, I thought like it was a decent performance. Maybe obviously it's only one game, so I don't want to be disingenuous to him. It's only one game. I guess I would have to see it over a prolonged period of time, like potentially during the tournament. I would really love to see what that looks like with Trent in the midfield. Alongside obviously the other senior players of Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, and etc. etc. You know, what does that kind of look like? What kind of role do you give him there? Because there was times, you know, in the game, you know, I think me Savage Ends was talking about it backstage, but there was times in the game I was just like, not just him, by the way, Gallagher as well. They were just there, like they weren't doing anything. They were literally just sitting there. You know, it just looked weird. Not maybe weird is a bit over exaggerated. It just looked like nothing was going on in that position. Trent gets the ball, tries to play a pass. Yeah, it doesn't really work or whatever. He plays it back, or he's trying to dribble out, can't do it, plays it back, whatever. Cool, we're kind of good to go. They were closing him down at points in the game. Yeah. But then second half, he really did kind of come into his own. I will say that about Trent. Second half, he started to maybe dictate the tempo a little bit more. Yeah, I would say he dictated the tempo a little bit more in that second half, and he was better. He was definitely better. Typical Liverpool performance, really and truly. Crap, well, not crap, but meaty first half, and then you improve in that second half. It just seems like he's kind of carried that over. But yeah, I would need to see more, of course, from Trent. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to be disingenuous. I don't want to say, oh, he can't play. No, we're not going to do that. I saw a lot of people talking about it, and they were like, Trent can't play midfield. Like I said, you know me, I'm not a fan of it, but I would need to see more anyway to make that final conclusion. I don't want to say that now and then sit there and then in 3 games time after England have played whatever games in the Euros, we're like, you know what, actually maybe he could, you know, if he does this role, he can really play in that midfield position. Me personally, I think right back position, but I think Carl Walker's got that locked up and no one's taking that, barring an injury. So I do wonder where he plays in this team, you know, kind of thing. I think it'd be a fantastic bench option, though, for England, you know, to be able to come on and then you can put him into more of a free role, depending on how the game is going and stuff like that. In fact, it doesn't even matter how the game's going because the type of player that he is, that's the kind of thing that you'd get him, you know, to kind of realistically do. So, yeah, man. I think calm performance from Trent. Good goal as well. Good technique on the finish. Passing was just typical Hollywood passes. But yeah, you know, it was just one of those kind of things, man. But again, when I show you guys the ratings, I guess we can talk about it a bit more as well. Another player was Eze. I really, you know me, Angel said it already. Yeah, I mean, am I Crystal Palace? I don't know, but Eze was the one I thought had a very good first half. You know, he had a really, really good first half. He was trying to link up play and make things happen. That's what I really liked about his performance. He was his typical self. The same way he plays at Palace, dropping that shoulder, yeah, I mean, gliding across the pitch. That's what Eze was doing, you know, and I felt like he was the only real, would I say, bright spark in that first half, you know, trying to link up play with Ollie Watkins, who just looked like his touches were just, I don't even know. I don't even know. They were awful. They were really, really awful. And I think Enz mentioned it actually backstage about where Eze is so used to playing like alongside a Mateta, someone who can hold the ball up, you know, and it sticks when he does get it. Forget whatever you think about him, he's good at the hold up play. So when you've got someone like Eze who likes to play off of those kind of the big man kind of thing, make his runs, whether that be second, third man run, whether that be to get the pass back, whether that be, you know, to move into whatever area he needs to, that's the kind of thing Eze wants to do. And he was trying to do that with an Ollie Watkins, but Watkins was an atrocious like game. He was so crap, like it was unbelievable. Didn't really understand. I was like, yeah. Next game, yeah, Tony. If he's trying to experiment, then yeah, Tony needs to be the one. We need to see what he's about. And I think Tony's got good hold-up play in general anyway. So maybe that might work a little better. And you know what? Like, it would definitely have given Gareth Southgate something to think about. Again, I don't know what he's going to do for the second game against Iceland on Friday, but he definitely, in my opinion, it gave him something to think about. You know, he gave him that because I almost feel like in the position that he plays, I feel like it's either like him or like a Maddison. No, now, if he has to choose between the two, I think he would go with Maddison purely because of longevity and purely because he knows Maddison. He knows how Maddison can work, etc., etc. And I hear it. Maddison is a decent player as well, right? But Eze, for me, just offers you a bit more. He's a bit more industrious as well. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So again, that's if he's choosing between like an Maddison and Eze, then yeah, he definitely would have put himself in the window at least. And you know, like I was joking yesterday with the guys. Like, listen, he's sitting there thinking, brother, I'm trying to go on the plane, so I'm going to do everything I possibly can, and that's what I want to see from somebody. That's why I love these experiments, like when you do these things prior to a tournament, because everybody wants to go. Everybody wants to prove something. Everybody wants to be in a position where they can say, I did everything I could to be able to get on the plane, you know, kind of thing. And I felt like Eze yesterday, in my opinion, you know, he definitely did that. Let me just go through some of the comments, and then we'll get on to the last player that I wanted to speak about. Victor, looking at Trent playing midfield for England yesterday, I don't think he's a midfielder. Trent is a wing back, in my opinion. Totally agree. Trent should play right mid like Beckham in a three-man midfield. Three-man midfield, right mid. I don't know. I don't think that's going to work, to be honest. Because what do you do with Saka? And that'll be the next thing. Jesus Christ. Interesting fact, G. Cover England for the first time when the Palace players get a call up. In the words of Savage, I can respect it. But I said this before, though. I said before the tournament started, I said, and I did my preview, that I'm going to be covering England, where we spoke about Curtis Jones, Kwanzaa, Trent. Yeah, I mean, we spoke about, bro, like I said, I was going to do it, man. So this is just me doing it now. Big up Hakeem in the building. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Trent played Watkins in first half, but he couldn't finish. Yeah. All of that stuff was great. Trent was beginning to dominate second half before he was moved to right back. Yeah. He was better at right back, in my opinion. But yeah, he was starting to, I guess, get into that kind of groove. Is Trent ever good off the bench? I don't know. I can't really recall too many games where he's had to play off the bench. Yeah, like someone in the chat will probably know anyway. I can't remember too many games where he's had to come off the bench, but that doesn't mean he can't play off the bench. Like, obviously, he's not playing in a team. He's playing in a team that they already have dope players around in other positions that he wants to play. Remember, at Liverpool, it's only Conor Bradley. The reality is you're picking Trent over Conor Bradley 10 times out of 10. You know, kind of thing. And then in the midfield, you're like, yeah, you can maybe play there, but you're not the guaranteed starter and blah, blah, blah. And with England, it's kind of the same thing again. You're kind of like, I mean, Jude and Rice are the two guaranteed starters in that midfield. I just don't know if he goes by that formation he did yesterday, 4-2-3-1, where does Trent fit in that? Unless you're going to move Jude into that number 10 position, then fairs. If that's the case, no problem. Then you can just do Declan Rice and Trent Alexander-Arnold. But if not, and he doesn't do that, and someone else goes in that 10 position, Trent's going to be on the bench because Carl Walker's going to play at right back, right? So, yeah, it's going to be mad. It's going to be mad. Hollywood Eze is Callum from Coppish with braids. Big up Callum, man. You're silly. LA Trent is a right back. Stop this foolishness of he is a midfielder. He is bang average as a midfielder. Yeah, like I said, I will just. It's just not my preference. I'm not gonna. I just don't feel like it's a good option for him. I think he does his best work when he's on the right, when he's playing as a right back. And he's done his best work for Liverpool in that position. Obviously, we have not seen him in the midfield, so it's difficult to really judge him based solely on that, because of course, I guess you'd have to see him in that position first. But I just think there's already other players in those positions, you know. Like I said, he is so unique in what he can do. He is a tricky player to kind of throw into a mix. He's so difficult. Like I said, at Liverpool, you don't really know what to do with him. Like, you're like, yeah, let's play him right back, but then he has to invert to go into the midfield anyway. So then people are like, why not just play him in the midfield? But will he be able to still do the same? Like, it's difficult with Trent. Honestly, he's so unique. And this is what I'm saying. We're now got to a position where we're almost just overcomplicating things for him. Back in them times, no one mentioned Trent playing midfield ever. Not one person ever said Trent should play midfield. It only started to come into play later on down the line. Maybe like, was it not the last World Cup that we just had? I think we've had another World Cup before that. No, we would have had the 2022 World Cup 4 years before that. Maybe when we won the Champions League / Premier League. I feel like the conversation started kind of from there. People like, oh, maybe he can play in midfield. Like, I think maybe during, in and around that kind of period of time. But it was always like kind of hush hush. No one really like was going over the top with it and blah blah blah, right? But then it seems like over time, and the reason why I feel like people are saying it is because they feel like he doesn't want to play right back. Hence why his performances in right back defensively haven't really been that good, right? And I'm like, that is the worst mentality that I can ever hear for a professional. You've just said I don't want to play this position for whatever reason, as an example, even though you say you don't care where you play, but you don't want to play this position, right? We'll go with that. We'll go with that hypothetical. He don't want to play this position. So now he's just going to start walking around and stuff like that. Does that show great mentality, people? Like, I don't know. Like, to me, that doesn't sound like a professional that I would even want in the team. Did you get what I'm trying to say? It sounds like a baby. Sounds like he's kind of acting like a baby. So, yeah, like I say, man, it is what it is with Trent, but he's still obviously, of course, an excellent talent. Kobe Mainoo is the midfielder, not Trent. Oh, of course, he's played there his whole life, and that's where he's playing now. Eze is class. I wish Liverpool would get him, but won't happen. Yeah, I've heard Spurs are in for him as well. But yeah, like I say, man, Eze really, really good in the game, I felt. And yeah, it was just another calm performance from him. The last player I wanted to take a look at was Adam Wharton. Obviously, I got to get my Crystal Palace guys in there. Just did his job, calm, and again, no one excelled in the game. By the way, there's no one I'm going to be like he played excellent. There was none of that last night. I felt like everyone was just relatively calm. The ones who did do well were calm. The other ones were just bang average or shit. He was another one though. Came on, obviously, of course, making his debut. Playing in the Premier League for the first time this season. There's been a lot of hype around someone like Adam Wharton. A lot of hype. A lot of people have been speaking about him. A lot of people have been saying, "Yo, he might be." Yeah, I mean, if you give him a bit more time, etc., etc. Saw him yesterday, comfortable in possession, comfortable out of it, picking up good positions. But he was just doing the basics. Like he was literally just doing the utmost basics. But he just looked calm. He just looked comfortable. Now, of course, game state, right? At that time, England are winning. They're playing relatively okay at this point in time. Bosnia are not really threatening England, so to speak. So, of course, it's going to look like that in terms of you can come into that type of environment and just do your thing, whether it be basic, whether it be excellent. You can just come in and do your thing, right? And obviously, at points in the later on in the game, you could see with Bosnia dropping deeper and deeper and deeper. It becomes a lot easier because now you have more time on the ball. Obviously, of course, we need to see what is he like when he's got a bit of pressure. What is he like in tournament kind of football when teams like your Serbias or your Denmarks or Slovenia, I think it is, when these teams are saying, "Brother, we need that 3 points. We need this 3 points." So I'm clattering you. What's he like under that kind of pressure? Obviously, we've seen a little bit of that in the Premier League. And we've seen that he's been really good, since joining Palace. Overall, anyway, of course, he's had his bad games here and there, but I think overall he's been good at Crystal Palace thus far, especially towards the latter end of the season. So yeah, man, it was a good debut for him. I don't think he goes on the plane. I don't think so. I don't feel like he would be one because I feel like, for example, Declan Rice, Conor Gallagher, Jude Bellingham. Obviously, Trent is in there as well. That's already 4. Can't remember who the other ones. I don't know if he would pick someone like him, but again, all he can do is do his best, right? All he can do is do his best. So, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I keep saying, Najee, this is the Crystal Palace. Hey, listen, they're the only ones who were interesting in the whole game. But of course, we're going to get onto the player ratings, in a sec. But they were the only ones who actually interested me in the entire... Bro, the game was boring as... I went out and I was watching the game on my phone as I went to the shops. I said, yeah, this is actually dead. Like, this is so... Obviously, it's not the players' fault, though, because the players that are on the pitch, you can't tell me Trent isn't a good player. You can't say that Ollie Watkins has been dead. Like, these are good players that we're seeing, Eze, all these guys. But when we're watching the game, Jared Bowen, like, I'm like, this just looks horrible to watch. Like, England have to be one of, in terms of top sides, top nations, should I say, England have to be one of the worst coach sides I've seen in a minute. The football is horrible to watch. Like, horrible to watch. I don't even understand how you can make these players, even when the big boys came on, the Harry Kanes and stuff like that, it still looked dead. Like, it looked like it was just pure individualism. Okay, yeah, Kane's on, or Jack Grealish, or whoever. Like, that's what it literally looked like. And I was just sitting there thinking to myself, bro, like, listen, I get your stilo. I understand, do you know what I mean, where you're coming from in regards to ultimately this is tournament football, right? And it actually doesn't really matter as long as you can get the result. And they got the result last night. They won 3-0. So ultimately, if that was a tournament game, do you think he's going to care? Not at all. He's just trying to make sure that he can get his victories and keep it pushing. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And that is the right mentality. That's what I will give him. But when you're watching some of this football, like you can then understand why they're not going to win it, because you're just like, this game wasn't so much more different than other games we've watched from England before. It's not like we've sat here, all of us here who have watched England, we've watched the same game before. It's a bit like Liverpool, right? You're watching the same thing. So individualism, of course, these guys are going to come on, they're going to do their thing because they are top quality players. When you're bringing on the likes of Harry Kane, Jack Grealish, James Maddison, I expect the team to go up a notch because these are top players, right? Of course they're going to do that. But in general, Jesus Christ, man. Yeah. Like I said, man, it was horrible. It was horrible. But playing Bosnia is very low bar, no disrespect. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And this is what Savage pointed out something to me yesterday, and you guys probably heard it as well. That was the first game. No, sorry, that was the first game that manager had ever managed in football ever. So he had never managed in terms of professional. Probably managed like maybe younger, but in terms of professional football, that was the first match he's ever managed. And we were making Bosnia look like they were difficult though. No Dzeko, you know. And we were making them, no Kolasinac as well. I don't think he played in that game. Let me check. No Kolasinac. No Kolasinac and no Dzeko. And we made them look like, yo, this is a good team. Now, I'm not disrespecting them and saying that they're a bad team by any stretch of the imagination, but you're being managed by a guy who's never managed in football ever, and you're missing two very key players, or two good players at least, for your team. And I'm just like, England, with a manager who's been managing England for time, he's got some dope players anyway, even if you just looked at that starting 11 in comparison to, you know, some of the players who ended up coming on. I'm sorry, but I don't care whether these men are on the bench, but Bowen, Palmer, Eze, and Watkins, and Trent, I'll even add him in there. That should be enough for you to be able to at least play better. At least play better. But that, like I said, horrible. And England just played crap football, bro. I actually hate the way they play. Angel saying Wharton is positionally aware and very disciplined. He holds the middle of the pitch and is comfortable. Yeah. And like I said, obviously, game state, it was easy. He man come on, the team's winning anyway. Like, it's going to be a lot easier for him, right? But yeah, he just did his thing. Eagles TV, yeah, come on, man. You know what I mean? Next season, it's going to be a vibe. No width first half. Yep, I agree. Everything was quite narrow. And everything, because it was so narrow, and then you got players like Eze who like to run in these kind of channels, everything's just here. You know what I mean? Everything is just here. Like, it was just becoming rubbish. Southgate is a bag of, as a manager and coach, his tactics and coaching is dead. Yep. No patterns with Southgate. It looks a bit random. Yeah, it does. It just looks like individuals. Individuals, like the build-up play, slow as hell. Everything just feels slow. That's what annoys me. And I think, again, big up to Savage, because it's something that he mentioned and I agree with. When you look at some of these top nations, right? So we looked at Spain, Germany, even France to a certain degree, but Spain and Germany were the two, right? If we all remember when Spain were doing their thing, yeah? When Spain were doing their thing, what was their kind of philosophy? Obviously, what's the two top teams in their country? Barcelona, Real Madrid. At that time, both were top, but Barcelona were obviously the pinnacle, right? So you're going to play a philosophy that's quite similar to the best team in that league, which is Barcelona, because you've already got half the team in that team, as well as having Real Madrid players. So guess what? You're going to mix and blend the two of those styles and tactics because the players are already used to doing that. Del Bosque isn't going to come in and say, yeah, I'm going to play a whole different game. I'm just going to do counter-attacking football. Because what? Like, why would he come and do that? Like, Barcelona players don't play like that. They play with, I want possession all the time. So guess what? We're going to mix that up with a level of intensity. We're going to mix that up with the level of dirtiness that Real Madrid will provide us. And the clinicalness that Real Madrid players can provide. Like, all of these kind of different things. Obviously, Atletico Madrid players and other players. But we're meshing really and truly what Barca and Real Madrid do, because those are the two best teams. Makes more sense. We've got most of their players. Germany, Bayern Munich. It's however Bayern Munich are playing at that moment in time, that's the way we're going to play. We've got most of their players. England, it just seems like he's tried to do his own thing. So because he's trying to do his own thing in and amongst, because he's trying to do his own thing in and amongst all the other styles and tactics in the league, I'm just like, this is where you're confusing people, and this is why your tactics look like this. This is why you're playing like this, because it looks slow and lethargic, because you're almost trying to do your own thing, but mix it in with what Brighton do, or like what Brighton did, under De Zerbi, what Manchester City do, what Arsenal do, what Liverpool do. And I'm just like, you're just mixing everything, and it's not going to work. But England have always been like this, though. They've literally always been like that. Like from day dot, they've literally been like this. That is the maddest thing. That is the maddest thing, man. So, yeah, England, man. Honestly, like I don't have them down as winners, but yeah, it is what it is. We'll get into that later. Liverpool have been playing dead football for 2 seasons now because of the rubbish coach Pep Linders that we got. Klopp biggest mistake of his Liverpool career was getting rid of Buvac in 2018. That's a conversation for another day. But yeah, I hear that. Let me go to my ratings anyway, people. Like I said, I don't want to make this too long, regardless. So, as I said, I've already rated the players. I've already done that. So we'll go through Pickford. Pickford was Pickford. I gave him a 6. Yeah, like not really much popping for him, to be honest with you. Didn't make any saves in the game, regardless. So, was there anything to talk about? No, not really. We'll move on to Kieran Trippier. To be honest, I should have maybe given him a 5 because it was average, but I think I gave him a 6 there. But I would change that to a 5 in terms of Trippier. It was just an average performance. Came off after about 60 minutes. Yeah, literally real average performance from Trippier. Do I think he looked comfortable in that left back position? He looked cool. He just. I felt like Gomez would have just been more of a natural fit. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I would have gone with that. Lewis Dunk, yeah, average. Gave him a 5. Difficult because obviously it's difficult for these guys, and this isn't even a rating like they were shit. By the way, like this isn't like he was rubbish average. This is just Bosnia weren't really providing anything. So yeah, like he didn't have much to do, and the things he did do isn't really enough to put this score up or anything like that, kind of thing. So yeah, it is what it is. Gay, I gave a 6. Maybe just that little bit better than a Lewis Dunk, but again, maybe I should have kept that at 5.5. But defensively, was okay. 1 4 out of 4 ground duels, 2 out of 3 aerial duels. So defensively, was good. 6 recoveries in the game. So yeah, from a defensive aspect, he was calm. Obviously, did pick up that yellow card as well. So it is what it is. Konza, thought Konza was okay defensively. Like I really did think, okay, yeah, defensively, yeah, Konza is actually kind of calm. Of course, you can see. With Konza, you can see the type of defender he is. He's like, obviously, he's a centre back by trade, right? So when I'm seeing him play right back, because you are a centre back by trade, defensively, you are going to be you are going to be good, which he was, by the way. He was good defensively. 4 out of 5 ground duels, although aerial duels, he only won 1 out of 4. So, but 4 recoveries. But defensively, I felt like he was solid down that side. I didn't feel like down that side they were getting any real joy. But yeah, going forward, and I know it's unfair to judge. It's unfair to judge players by that kind of metric, should I say, in terms of what were they like going forward. But ultimately, that's kind of the way that people want their right backs and left backs to kind of play. Like you almost need to be able to kind of do both, or at least better than what he was doing anyway. And I just felt going forward, yeah, I thought he was crap going forward. But yeah, in terms of everything leading up to that final third. Yeah, that was really, really good. And then when it got to that final third, it was really, really crap. I didn't really like it. But, it is what it is. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I gave a 7.5 for that performance. Yeah, as I said, he got himself a goal. Created 5 chances in the game. Got a shot off. What else is really good about him? Long balls, 7 out of 12. Dispossessed once, 1 out of 3 ground duels, and 1 out of 1 aerial duel in the game, and he won that one. But yeah, like I said, calm performance from Trent Alexander-Arnold in the game. Nothing nothing really excited me in that kind of game. I wasn't really like, oh my goodness, like he looked amazing in this. But in terms of alongside Conor Gallagher, who's obviously I gave a 6.5, yeah, I felt like he was the better, type of player. Conor Gallagher always seems like a player that's just kind of everywhere. He's everywhere but nowhere. That's the type of player I always feel like he is. Everywhere but nowhere. But he was getting busy. 7 out of 9 ground duels. He was the defensive one, so to speak, between the two. 7 out of 9 ground duels, 2 out of 3 aerial duels. So you can tell who was actually the defensive midfielder, between the two. Because of course Trent hasn't even got that many tackles or he's not even going in for that many duels as it is. But Gallagher, he is. So fair enough to him. 6 recoveries in the game. Yeah, I felt like a 6.5 performance from him. Eze gave another 7.5 as well. Like I said, bright spark in the game, especially really in that first half. He really was a bright spark. Came off around the 60th minute. Yeah, around about 60th minute. He's come off. So yeah, I think everything leading up to that, really, really good, if I'm being totally honest. And defensively, he was actually all right. 5 out of 9 ground duels, 2 out of 2 aerial duels, 1. Defensive actions, 3, 2 recoveries in the game, 2 out of 2 long passes, successful dribbles, 3 out of 5, passes into the final third, touches in the opposition box. Yeah, thought he was calm. Gave him the same as I gave Trent Alexander-Arnold. Excuse me. Cole Palmer, I gave him a 7. It would have been a 6.5, but the goal gave him a 7. I thought he was okay in that game, but I almost feel like in that kind of game, and one thing I noticed about Cole Palmer, which I've noticed all season, is that he is a player who likes to play the game at his own pace. Excuse me. He is a player who likes to play the game at his own pace. So I'm always like, yeah, I mean, at Chelsea, that can kind of work because you are the talisman, right? So the team is going to kind of play at your pace. You ain't the talisman and you ain't even one of the top 5, 6, 7 players in the team. So I'm always like, yeah, when I'm watching you last night, that the kind of energy you was giving off was like, yeah, obviously you're going to keep doing the things that you've been doing all season, right? And I get that. But when I'm watching you play with England, and whether it's playing with the so quote unquote like the ballers, or whether you're just playing with these kind of guys like who are the second string, so to speak, I was just like, I expected more from you in the game, I'll be honest, but I didn't really see too much. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like there was, I've seen you play better for Chelsea, like, and forget the goals. I'm not even forget him scoring goals. I just felt like, I think Harry Kane mentioned something at the end when he was doing the interview, talking about, him getting the shots off, a bit quicker and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, like I see you do it for Chelsea all the time. Like literally, I'm always complaining that I think I even said it yesterday, like he loves to shoot, but he wasn't even really doing that enough, like holding on to the ball a bit sometimes, kind of thing, just casual kind of performance. Again, not to scrutinize his performance. I'm not trying to do that, but that's just how I felt with his game yesterday. But I felt, again, another calm performance. He got 8 touches in the opposition box. Let me see how many no tackles in the game. Recoveries 1 out of 4 ground duels. 3 shots in the game. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just felt like he created 2 chances, by the way, as well in the game. Yeah, I just felt like he could do a little bit more. That was just my thinking, behind him. Jared Bowen, I gave him a 6.5, but the reality is I should have given him a 6. I thought he was kind of dry. I actually thought he was actually, yeah, yeah. And again, I don't even think it's even his fault. That's the maddest thing. I'm not trying to even say it was his fault. Do you get what I'm saying? I think it was just tactically the way that England was set up. I remember at one point in the first half, was it first half? First half? Yeah, at one point in the first half, I remember fully saying, I didn't even know that Jared Bowen was even playing. Like, I had completely forgotten about the lineup. And obviously, if I'm watching the game and I'm immersed in the game, at some point I need to know that you're on the pitch somewhere. Unless you're the goalkeeper, and that's the only player on the pitch which I'm like, okay, Fez, yeah, I don't expect, like, if I'm not seeing the goalkeeper, that's a good sign, right? So I'm not going to be bothered about that. But you, who's an attacking player, I didn't feel like he was doing that much at all. I'll keep it back. Like I felt like it was maybe just above average, and that's basically purely down to the fact that when he gets in and around the box, yeah, it looks all great. Like he starts to come alive a little bit, but everything leading up to that, I'm always like, again, maybe it's because of stylistically, maybe because of the tactics, slow. Not the 1-2s are not really 1-2ing and stuff like again, things that when I'm watching him for West Ham and man like Jerry is telling me about, yo, like Bowen, I'm like, yeah, okay, I can see what you're talking about, but yeah, yesterday I'm not seeing what you're talking about. I'll be honest, I didn't see anything from him. I just felt like it was just a their performance. Do you know what I mean? Like if that was his audition, then yeah, I don't think they're giving you a callback. I'll tell you that. I don't think they're going to give you a callback. They're going to thank you for the services though, and then going to need to keep it moving. But maybe he'll be on the plane just because of the position that he plays and stuff like that. But he's going to have someone like a Cole Palmer there. Cole Palmer might, you know what I mean? I don't know where Southgate sees Cole Palmer in general, but who knows? He can play right. He can play in that number 10 role. Let's wait and see. And last but not least, Ollie Watkins was absolutely garbage. Yeah, garbage. He was dog food, and that's me being as kind as I possibly can about his performance. But yeah, you guys, you saw the game. He was garbage. I didn't even understand at points. Like I'm like, what are you even here to do? Like I don't get it. What are you trying to do in this kind of moment? Because the reality is the ball's bouncing off of you every 2 seconds. You're now in a position where like I need you to be able to link up play really, really well. I need you to be able to, help out the players like the Ezes, like the Bowens, like the Palmers, because you're the link man. You're the guy that's here. So if you're here, I'm expecting you, to be able to help out everybody else. But he was not doing that. And I'm just like, come on, Watkins, man. I've been bigging you up like all season. And again, one game, it is what it is. It's a friendly, all these things come into play. I get all of that. I fully get all of that. And it's not about trying to be so harsh in terms of me generalizing him, because I still think he's a very good player. But just based off of that performance alone, I said, yeah, you see you and Tony. If Tony comes in and bags a goal, yeah, it might look a bit long for you now. It might look a little bit long and it might be scary hours. I'll be super honest for you. Super honest. But yeah, that's kind of my ratings. I don't really rate the subs and stuff like that. Like I'm not going to give them a rating, but of course, Branthwaite came on, Wharton came on, Gomez, Grealish, Harry came, Maddison, they all came on. But yeah, like I say, man, it'll be out of all of them, Gomez, yeah, Wharton, yeah, he was calm. Brathwaite, yeah, he was calm as well. Grealish was all right. He was all right. He was getting the ball a lot. He was definitely getting the ball a lot. And they were trying to make things happen through him. There was one chance I was like, bro, why don't you shoot? And he ended up passing it to Harry Kane. I was like, why would you do that? Like that's where you take responsibility and you let that shot off. You know what I'm saying? You rifle that as best as you possibly, or you place it as best as you possibly can. Harry Kane, that was such a meaty performance. Donny was dropping, what did Savage say? No, man was dropping into like the full 6 position and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, like, why are you even here? Like, genuinely, why are you even here? Like, just drop in for no reason. Maddison, I didn't feel like Maddison was really getting into the game like that. In terms of when he was in and around the box, I felt like when he did get into those positions, you're doing too much now. Like, bro, just calm it down a little bit. We know who you are. We know what you're about. You don't need to show off. Just do what you need to do, and let's move from there. And I just felt like he was trying to do all of these things, and I'm like, brother, you're not that guy. Like, just simple, keep it effective, and then keep it moving. That's why people like what you do. Don't try to come here and be something that you're not. And that's exactly how I looked at at James Maddison performance. But yeah, that's the ratings, people. That's the ratings. Obviously, they've got the game on Friday. As I said, that's against Iceland. So it's going to be interesting to see the lineup and stuff like that. Of course, I'll do a prediction for that game. I'll probably do it on the Friday itself, actually. Yeah, I'll do it on the Friday itself in the morning, around about the same time. So, of course, make sure you guys join in for that this evening. Oh, God, here's some news as well. All right, cool. I'll get to that. Big up honesty. I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, this evening, or yeah, around about this evening, around about 6, 7-ish, I will be dropping my video today will be on Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe. I don't know if I've got the thumbnail already, but yeah, I'll just be talking about him, his move. Everybody's obviously been getting on to him and stuff like that. All of this kind of rubbish, which I'm still kind of confused by as to why people are getting on to him. So yeah, but of course I'll be talking in and around that. Maybe ends on one of these guys potentially might have something going on this afternoon. So again, just keep your notification bells on and then stay tuned for that. News: Arne Slot is keen to assess the squad he is inheriting during pre-season before making any decisions on transfers, with background work already done on potential players. Yeah, man, I think, look, just a quick one on that. I think with Liverpool, I said it 100 times, guys, we just need to be in a position where let's just not get disappointed. You know what I mean? Like, let's not get, because we know what's going to happen, man. Like, I know everyone's a bit angry recently because they're like, oh, Real Madrid are getting Mbappe and all that kind of stuff, and we're stuck, potentially trying to get Somerville and that. Obviously, that's a mad, like, they're not even in the same planet, like, when it comes to the football ability and talent, right? So I get all of that. But at the same time, we know what they're about. We know what they're on. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, and I talk a little bit about that in the video as well. So, yeah, like, it's we can't really, what I mean? We don't want to compare ourselves to them, because the reality is they are who they are and we are who we are, ultimately. And that's kind of just what makes us Liverpool at the end of the day. So, yeah, we will go in for the likes of, I don't know, Somerville or Embuemo and stuff like that. And let's just pray that these are the guys that, will get us over the line. Like, that's literally what we can do right now. Is that this is what you're competing with around Europe? You compete with guys who've got these kind of players. Heck, you're competing with even teams like a PSG who have got Kolo Muani, a Ramos, and Asensio, Dembele. Like, yeah, it's difficult out here. It's difficult out here, man. Trust. Trent versus Bosnia, most passes, most crosses, long balls, chances created, and a goal to top it off, pulling the strings. Winning the UCL of Madrid is easy, man. Man should have gone to Villa, bring back glory to Birmingham. Yeah, maybe Savage would have liked that one. Maybe. But yeah, again, watch the video, guys. Watch the video. This will be the thumbnail, so you'll know anyway. Yeah, watch the video, people. I'm going to drop that around about, maybe like 6-ish. I'll drop this video. So yeah, let me know what you think, because I do speak about that as well in regards to man saying, yeah, he should go to like a team like that, etc., etc. And then of course go from there. There is absolutely no desire from Liverpool in looking to move Darwin Núñez on this summer. Yeah, I saw that. I rolled my eyes. The club believe that Arne Slot will be able to work with the forward and help him fulfill his potential. Yeah, that's on. Listen, it's not me who's getting paid the 10-15 million a year, so that's on you, my bro. You saw how old Klopp was looking at the end of his time here, bro. Konate and Upamecano will be preferred over William Saliba in defense by France manager Didier Deschamps. I saw that. You know what the maddest thing about that? I don't know why he doesn't just play. The thing is, I don't know why he doesn't just play Saliba and Konate. I feel like that would be the best choice going forward. One who's comfortable playing on, obviously I know Upamecano can play that side, but one who's comfortable playing on the left side and is the calmer defender, because between the three of them, there's only one who's calm, and that's Saliba. You've got two rash, bozo-like defenders. Imagine you got two bozos next to each other. It's a mistake waiting to happen. But something, and big up Hussam, something that he mentioned yesterday, I was like, you know what? It would make sense why he would play someone like a Konate in this kind of in tournament football, right? Because his makeup, as much as he's got the bozo moments, obviously not as much as Upamecano, but he's got them in his gene, right? At the same time, when you are looking at someone like Konate, fast, powerful, can more or less deal with give or take any striker, whether it be because of their pace or their strength or whatever. In tournament football, I feel like that can work over a period, like in the short space of time that they've got. That might be something that, I'd rather have someone like him on that side, especially because I guess maybe most of the left wingers are going to be relatively good, right? So having someone like that next to Saliba, in my opinion, that would be perfect. Saliba's quick. Like, the brother is fast as well. It's not like he's slow, and he's more calmer on the ball. So you're just offering that. But listen, he's gone for Upamecano. It is what it is. I like Upamecano though. Like, do you know what I mean? So it is what it is. Question G: would you take Griezmann for 2 years to play when? Yep. I didn't even need to. Yep, I would definitely play. Sign Griezmann for 2 seasons. He'd immediately be in the first team. Play him wherever you want to play him. Take out whoever you need to take out. But he comes in, and if we're just based on ability, of course, have to see what he's like in the tactics. But if we're just talking about the player ability, he'd be better than whoever else in whatever position that he plays. So just play him. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about one of the best players in world football at this moment in time, man. And he's been able to evolve his game. Mad. Big up Savage. Big up Mandem. Honestly, allow that meaty jerk to running everywhere. Respect my striker, bro. Killy the truth. Fuck's sake, bro. Killy the truth, Mbappe. You know, look, bro. You guys watching our Savages? Yeah, I mean, just yeah. I see you, my bro. I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. Nunez will stress slot out to the point we start seeing his skull. Loose skin instead of hair. Loose skin, sorry, instead of hair. I hear it. And who you talking, Nunez? Because you're a Barca fan. You could never be talking about my number 9, young Killy. Hey, leave Barcelona, man. Leave Barcelona alone. There's a rumor going around that Tomori is thinking about picking Nigeria over England. He is tired of waiting for a call-up. I think he should just wait until Southgate goes. If Southgate stays, then keep it dipping, man. Yeah, I'm trying to say, like, what are you sticking around for? The guy has favorites. Guys, he picked Calvin Phillips for like a year straight, and Donny was being told he was too fat at fucking Manchester City. But Donny was still picking him. I said, nah, like, you're actually taking a piss. You're actually taking a piss. Harry Maguire's out here getting arrested in Greece and that. And man said, yeah, no, calm, he can, what? Come on, man. Like, that should tell you literally everything. In Baps the Truth, Nature Boy, is this the biggest flip-flop in YouTube history? 100%. But guys, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. As I said, people, later on today, I will be dropping this video. I'm literally currently editing it as we speak. So make sure you guys, of course, tune in for that. And as I said, man, keep your notification bells on. Like I said, I don't know if the guys are going to be dropping anything today, but yeah, you'll see whenever you see. Big up to everybody who's been in this morning. Enjoy the rest of your day, people. I'm about to continue watching The Avengers. Peace.